Hey everybody, welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 330, being recorded on December 17th, 2014. I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malventano.
Josh, are you going for your Steve Jobs look today, by chance?
I was hoping more Steve McQueen.
All right.
The tactical
Yep,
forest
tactical
gray.
turtleneck.
The tactical turtleneck. It is gray, not black, so I guess it's a little bit off kilter in that way. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the podcast from PC Perspective, where we review hardware and crap like that for computers. Interesting story today. And who knows, maybe we have a new listener or viewer today.
Maybe.
A young man visited us. He's actually delivering my Jimmy John's for lunch today. And I get delivery food all the time, man, because I'm lazy and I eat fast food too much. But most of the time, people come into the office, they kind of look around at all the crap that's here, and they go, whatever, and they just kind of take the signature sheet and then they leave, right? As soon as he walked in and kind of like looked around, I could tell that he knew what the stuff was.
Yep.
Like he was like, oh, man. He was looking around, and I was on the phone with
See the gears turning.
a guy.
Like,
I was on the phone with a guy from NVIDIA talking about something else. I said, hold on, I gotta sign for my food. And the guy's like, oh, man, what do you do here? And I said, well, we review computer parts. And he's like, oh, that is awesome. And then I'm signing out the sheet and filling out the tip form. And the next line is, you know, the only problem with my computer is... And I was like, oh, no, this is going to be really bad. But it's like, the drivers, I have to uninstall them before I can reinstall a new one every time. And I was like, well, what do you have? He's like, a GTX 770. And like I said, you get like a little pop-up in the corner. He says, yeah, it says the GeForce needs to be updated or whatever. And I click it, and it says there's no internet, even though the pop-up just had to connect to the internet to tell me that there was a new driver.
So the guy knows what's up, too.
He kind of knew. He kind of knew what was going on. And it was funny because the guy I was talking to on the phone is like the guy in charge of drivers.
Works at NVIDIA.
Even more so. He was like in charge of drivers. So I was like, hey, did you get all that? Your shit doesn't work. And
right in front of the guy, right?
His GeForce experience was poor.
Correct. And so when I told the delivery kid that's like, I'm on the phone with somebody from NVIDIA who does on drivers. He's like, no way.
Yeah, his mind was completely blown.
Yeah.
Right?
And he was like, are you hiring? And I said, well, not right now. But
give me your card.
You know, in theory, it's not a bad idea. As a younger guy who's just like excited to do it, he'd probably work for free.
Am I being replaced?
You'll be able to get cheap Jimmy John's.
New interns.
Yeah, low-cost lunch.
Order some more.
He'll get an upgraded video card eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In retrospect, it's
Still
just like,
waiting for
maybe
mine.
give me your name and number, and we'll see if we need some like benchmarking monkey work done.
He'd probably do it with a smile on his face.
Could have been interesting.
But then they just get jaded. Like,
And then the guy I was talking to on the phone was like, you know, he's just going to come back with his friends and steal all your crap out of that office now. And I said, well, that's why I got the ADT system set up and all the decals and all the windows and doors, just so they know.
Yeah.
Hey, please don't do that. Please don't steal all my stuff, because that'd make me sad. So that was my funny story of the day. I don't know how
Yeah, it was good.
funny it was, but the sandwich was amazing.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah. Bootleggers Club, great sandwich. Thinny chips, under 800 calories for everything. I highly recommend it.
You make it sound like that's very
Mouthful?
few calories.
For a 2,000 calorie a day diet.
am I supposed to do the pre-roll now, or is that...
Run the Jimmy John ads now.
Okay.
And we're back. Thanks for that and all the support for Jimmy John's. If you want to, we do record the show live. If you're watching us, you already know that. Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern or so, depending on technical difficulties. If you want to be notified when we record the show live, you can go into the chat room and hang out and ask us questions and talk with people and make fun of Josh. That's all part of the experience, really, of the podcast. We do that at PCPer.com/live. If you are a forgetful person, you want to sign up for a mailing list that reminds you of when we do that, just go to PCPer.com/subscribe. You'll come to this page here that asks for your name and email address right here. And all I do is send you an email somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour before the show starts. And we do other shows too, where we give away prizes on game streams or whatever, which we have done a lot in this quarter. So you'll definitely want to sign up for that mailing list if you haven't yet. So let's jump into stuff. First things first, right here. Jeremy, you updated the leaderboard today. Was there any, I guess before I go into that, our hardware leaderboard is at PCPer.com/leaderboard or PCPer.com/HWLB. And it is a kind of a one page location where you can get our recommendations for systems at variable price ranges. For example, the low-end system's now at $386, mid-range at $893, high-end at $1241, and the Dream system is at almost $3,000. You click that little plus, and it expands out and shows you the components and gives you links to where you can buy them if you want to look for that stuff there. But I'm curious, you updated it today at the request of myself and some of our Twitter followers, Jeremy. Were there any updates? Were they just price updates? How'd that all work out?
I mean, for the most part, yeah. It's been a slow last half of the year for brand new, interesting stuff.
If you take the 980 and 970
on the low end, we just sort of saw some changes, just overall in pricing and such. And the fact that it's only $386 is really kind of nice for a low end system, and that's including an actual discrete GPU. You can knock $50 off it if you don't pick up the 240 and want to save for something a little bit better if you're on a super low budget. For the mid-range, the 4670K got kicked out. The 4690 is actually only $220 at this point, unlocked, and hey, it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
It also gets the Gigabyte Black Edition, the Z79X UD3H, which is really a hell of a motherboard for the price. Because the problem is, I mean, some of the newer Z97s are still $300 easily. Oh, yeah. So you got to shop around to find a good one. The Gigabyte Black actually has 2 PCIe Express 3.0 slots, so you can upgrade to dual video if you want. They'll both run at 8X. Yeah. And apart from that,
your video card selection kind of sucks.
Well, hey,
225, you can get the R9 285, which significantly faster.
I did not find that at a price that I liked, which is too bad, because I like the 285 because it's Tonga. Hey, you get to play with new silicon.
Yeah.
I will have to double check that, because if you found one, let me know.
Josh loves playing with new silicon.
Yeah. The 850 Evo jumped in, because at $140 for a 250 gig drive,
nice.
Seriously, it's kind of hard to resist. It did make the high and the Dream End system a little bit questionable. I mean, it's hard to pick between the 850 Pro and the 850 Evo. I mean, Alan.
You mean the 840 Pro or the 850 Pro? Because 850 Pro is quite a bit more, isn't it?
It is a little bit more expensive. You get a 10-year warranty.
That's true, but I mean, you get a 5-year warranty on the 850 Evo.
Yeah,
it's still nothing to sneeze at, and the endurance is going to be pretty darn good on these. Like.
Okay, how long ago did you get your first SSD, Jeremy? Really? 3 years ago?
Oh, it's that Agility 3 that's still kicking just fine.
Yeah, it's like 3 years ago. So 5 years, still not even.
And I mean, Al, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 850 Pro did a bit better on deep Q depths, didn't it?
It's not that it was deep Q depths, it's that it was how far it progressed through the test before the cache ran out.
Yes. Okay.
That's the thing. So it just couldn't get all the way up, like on that one particular test. I think it was database, which is where the cache ran out of steam. You know, but the thing is, that's a continuous test. It's not, you know, if just regular consumers, regular consumers should pay attention to that chart before it tapers off. You know, because chances are they're going to be in that range. You know, whenever they hit the SSD, they're only going to be hitting it like an intermittent bursts, not.
So and that's probably why I listed them both. I mean, the 850 Pro is the one I went with, so 165 for the 512.
Wait, are they really that cheap?
Or sorry, that's the 256. 140 for the Evo. So it's, you know, a $25 difference, and very much a personal choice.
So, and is that an 850 Pro or an?
Yeah.
All right. They weren't that cheap before.
850 Pro, no, 256 for $164.
Yeah, because they were running like 70 cents a gig and up.
Oh, they certainly were.
Like
but
not too long ago,
down.
Right? And then all of a sudden, like they dropped the prices along with.
Yeah, because the 1 terabyte used to be $699. Now it's $629.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most.
And in that case, I would sort of suggest the 850 Evo because it's $470.
It's interesting that those prices came down at the same time that the 850 Evo launched.
Why is it curious?
It's just weird. Like I would expect the Evo to undercut it by a lot.
500 gig Evo is $249.
But like the Evos are just shipping. And the Pro's already in the channel, and there isn't that much of a perf difference between them, as we just discussed.
Oh, so true.
Trying to clear more Pros out of the channel that have been sitting there for a little bit and replace them with Evos, kind of move along inventory.
the other nice thing was that the Revo drive is down to 1267. Considering it used to be $1,500, that's a nice cut to see.
Oh, the OCZ Revo drive?
Yeah.
What do we have that in?
I would assume that.
Was that the Dream System?
I put it in as a choice for the Dream System for those people that actually have the budget to do it.
Because
and I mean, it's for that price for the 960 gig, not bad. Not bad at all. 1267.
Cool. So you can find that at PCPer.com/leaderboard, and we update that fairly regularly as well. So check that out if you're looking for system build suggestions there. And if you follow those links through the Amazon.com stuff, that helps us out as well. So let's go ahead and get into some reviews from this week. First up, real quick, we'll talk about the SilverStone SFX power supply. This time a 600 watt. SFX is I don't know if it's technically a SilverStone. Is it technically a SilverStone exclusive form factor? But it is. The idea is to make it smaller. So, for example, a standard 600 watt power supply from Corsair on the right, and a 600 watt SFX power supply on the left. Quite a dramatic difference there. And the idea is for home theater PC, not necessarily home theater PCs, but small form factor PCs in general. Something like this. What the hell case is that? That's the which one is that? Oh, how about that? Inside the Cooler Master Elite 110. So
I think it's the Cooler Master Elite 110.
Hey, I think it's the Cooler Master Elite 110.
Yeah, even though you took all the panels off, I still believe it could be the Elite 110.
Yeah. So Lee wrote this review up. Go check that out if you're interested in small form factor cases and power supplies. Now keep in mind, I think you can put this power supply in any system, but it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Only really look at these if you're looking at those types of cases and chassis, because it is a little bit more expensive as well. It's $129
I guess
for a 600 watt unit.
I guess that was a Cooler Master case that had the SFX in it, so it's not just a SilverStone.
Yeah, but I was trying to. I don't know who created SFX form factor. Somebody in the chat will let us know, but I want to say SilverStone was either the very first person or they created the form factor, and maybe other people have kind of gone into it, because I don't know if Cooler Master makes an SFX power supply.
Yeah, but they make power supplies, right?
They do, yeah. So, Cooler Master does, but they make cases.
Yeah.
And that was a picture of a SilverStone power supply in a Cooler Master case.
But I doubt Cooler Master would want to use an exclusive SilverStone thing.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. So check that out. But like I said, it is kind of expensive, $130 for a 600 watt unit, but you're paying for kind of the higher end components that allow you to run it in a smaller size. It did get a gold award. Gold. 50 amps in the 12 volt rail.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot of current.
What, 600 watts?
Yeah, 600 watts.
Yeah, nice.
Next up, Alan's going to talk to us about the Inateck USB 3 drive dock. This will be quick, short, and to the point here. It's a external USB 3 dock for 2.5-inch hard drives, not just SSDs. But
yeah, you can put a regular hard drive in here.
In
it supports up to the 9.5 millimeter, so it's your standard laptop hard drive size, right? And if you scroll down a little, on the inside, the thing is really, really, really simple.
It's got a USB 3 port on the back and a lock that you may or may not need, and inside you get this one little
tiny PCB. Yeah,
that looks like that.
It really, there's nothing to it. Right?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just everything's all built into this J-Micron controller. I know I said J-Micron. Don't
freak out.
Don't freak out.
Okay.
Because actually it's pretty good. It's just basically a bridge to go between USB 3.
It's not an SSD controller, so
correct. Yeah. It just goes between USB 3 and SATA. Basically, just bridges it. It's not perfect because I actually tried to push this thing and go high on the Q depth, and it doesn't really do much once you go past.
We should point out that one of the big selling points of this is that not just that it's USB 3, but that it supports UASP.
UASP, which means that you can have a Q.
Right.
There can be a Q depth, right? Which is
different than
good.
Traditional USB 3.0 bot, which is, I forget what that stands for now.
Bulk only transfer.
Bulk only transfer. So that's sequential data transfer only. UASP allows you to have something similar to SATA NCQ.
Yeah, except it's just using SCSI command set.
Okay.
But same difference, right? SCSI command set is very parallel with
it allows you to get higher performance
SATA
out
works.
of it, right?
Yeah. That and just the fact that you can issue things in parallel. There's other parallelism that happens through that chain of, how those commands get from the OS all the way down to the device, right? And it kind of takes some shortcuts and reduces some of that time. And the fact that you can issue those commands in parallel is kind of a big deal, because like Windows, if you're just trying to read a file sequentially, it'll actually do it at a certain queue level. It won't just be a queue depth of 1.
It'll try to pre-read.
It'll say, "Hey, give me the next, give me the next however many blocks of 128K a piece," right? And if you do that, especially to an SSD, you're going to go much faster, right? So speeds were good.
Looks like we saw sequential read speeds of up to 389 and write at 341. And that's within 850 Pro.
That was with I use an 850 Evo, the 500 gig.
Okay.
Which pretty much saturates all the time anyway, even if you're writing in TLC mode.
Sure.
But, pretty good speeds. I tried a sampling of different drives just for compatibility and to see how things worked. And it pretty much will max out at those numbers that we posted.
Yeah.
Or you might see a little bit lower if you put in an SSD that has, write speeds more limited, like lower capacity SSD.
Makes sense.
That's where you notice that it's running slower than I would expect on the writes. But other than that,
But that's an SSD limitation.
That's an SSD limitation.
Really the drive. The best part about this device is its price, though.
Oh yeah, it's like $17, I think. $16.
I think the FE 2005 is like $19. The 2006 is actually $2 cheaper, which might actually be a little bit newer option.
Yeah. There's a newer
it's
option.
got a better kind of closing mechanism.
Yeah, this thing is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of feels a little bit flimsy-ish. I mean, the other solution might not be much better because it really is just like a sliding door that goes over the top. But
yeah, that's the same as the one that I did. I mean, it's got a sliding lock on the top of it. And the one thing I'm almost, and I hate to say it, a little bit disappointed, because the one I was testing without the UASP was hitting 316 megabytes.
With an SSD?
Yes, with an SSD, but it's just not a huge difference for that extra $2 in price.
I'm sure it depends on what you're testing.
Yeah, I think it really
if you look at your ADO results, the difference of Q depth of 2 versus Q depth of 4.
Yeah.
What am I looking at? What's the left hand?
Especially at
there is that
look at like 4
data size.
Yeah, that's like look at 4K.
Yeah, 4 goes
there.
from 40 up to 61 and 70.
Yeah, so it's like a 50% boost in the performance you would get for 4K random.
Especially, and that makes more sense for smaller file sizes than it does for larger file sizes, I guess, right?
And for something external, the time where you would really see that difference is whenever if you're trying to copy stuff to an external drive and you hit that chunk of really small files.
It's always annoying.
And you sit there and if it's a really
go to like 300K per second.
Yeah, and if it's a really crappy drive or non-UASP drive or something, like you'll see it, like you could watch the counter sit there and tick like a couple of files per second, when really the thing's capable of like hundreds of files per second at that speed. So this would get you much closer to that in that case, right? So yeah, I mean you can hit 300 meg per second with a non-UASP device on USB 3 now with like current controllers. Didn't used to be the case.
Yeah.
When like USB 3 was early and like.
And I think Ken said this at one point too. Is like this is just, even if you don't have a direct use for this now, like for $15 or $20,
just buy it.
Just buy one and keep
that's what I put. That's what I put in the conclusion, because
be like, just have it with you because you're going to need it at some point.
You never know. Someone comes by with a laptop. Or they're trying to upgrade to an SSD. You want to just do a quick image, right? As long as the laptop has USB 3 on it, this is going to make it go way, way quicker, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to copy. Yeah, because in that case, it is a bunch of small files. If you're doing like a Cronus image, it's trying to copy every single tiny Windows INI file over, right? Mm-hmm. That would take like 2 or 3 times the amount of time for that chunk of files without this thing, right? So
now copying thumbnails.db.
Yeah.
Now copying thumbnails.db. Now copying
times 50,000.
Another story that went up this week was something I asked Scott to do for us. He had written a review of a mechanical keyboard a while ago.
One of those cherry switch keyboards.
That he did a very good job of kind of explaining the difference between all the different cherry colors.
He had animations and
made these animations. He made these animations out of it. And I don't know what happened, but earlier this week or late last week, I just suddenly said, hey, why don't we have that up there as something separate so that, when people search about, hey, what's the difference between these mechanical keyboard switches, we can have a story that talks about specifically the difference of that and not in the middle of another story. So I had Scott put together this little post of mechanical keyboard switches explained and compared. When he goes through these explanations, right, you've got here, you're talking about, what are these, centinewtons? of compression
how much force it takes.
how much force it requires to depress it. Is it a linear feel? Is it a tactile feel? How clicky is it? And he kind of divides this up into this table. Obviously, you got to read some of the surrounding text to really understand what we're looking at here. But then he made these animations, right? So cherry black, and you can kind of see how it is a linear depression, and then this is what is actually triggering the key press.
The actual key press, yeah.
All right. What the difference is in red, it looks like it's travel in that case.
Yep.
My favorite one is the blue.
Yeah.
Because you can clearly see
shows the click.
The click.
Yeah,
that's when the bottom part, gray part, separates and goes down. That's the click, right?
Yep.
Like that's what you're.
Haha, Mike.
That's hot.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that.
Look at that. And then it goes away. Yeah.
And that animation was just sitting there, buried in an article from months and months ago.
Yeah.
And, like not
So
really
I
noticed.
think these
Let's
are
all
really
just
cool.
sit and stare at it for a
And then
while.
like the Cherry MX Brown is kind of like an in between, where you can see when it goes over that edge.
That's
you'll
what's in
definitely
mine.
feel a tactile thing.
That's what I put in mine at
But it'll
home.
be
Like
significantly less loud than that.
it's really, it doesn't click at all. You
Really?
you just have the feeling of a clicky key. Like to your finger, it was basically be the same thing, right? As far as the feel,
But it
but you're
doesn't
not
sound-
you're not making a racket. In
Like when
you know,
Ken is
like
typing,
when Ken is typing.
out stuff on his computer.
These are reds here.
Oh, are those reds there?
Those are
I have
reds?
blues at home. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also browns are still loud. Don't front.
Well, you know what it is with that?
true.
You know what really it is though? It's when the key's bottom.
Yeah.
The way that
Yeah.
Cherry's bottom is it's just a hard plastic on
well,
plastic.
you can see. Well, no, they all kind of do that, but yeah.
But when they bottom, it's plastic on plastic. It's basically doing the same thing that the clicky one does with that section of it hitting the bottom, right? And then they sell these little O-ring kits that you can get
Right.
of a couple of different diameters, and you just put them. You have to pull the keycap off. You stick
Changes the feeling a little bit, right?
it. Well, it just makes it so that they bottom on an O-ring.
But doesn't it feel a little bit different
Yes.
when they
Oh yeah,
bottom out? Like
yeah.
it's
totally different, but it's dead silent.
Yeah.
Like they actually mine with those O-rings. The keys make more noise when you let go of them. And they hit the top of their travel.
That's
than they
kinda
do at the bottom.
Also,
Yeah, it's weird.
different keycaps. Instead of ABS
That's
keycaps,
true.
if you have my roommate has a keyboard with PBT keycaps, they're blues, but it's pretty silent actually.
Yeah, it's quieter plastic.
Yeah, it's weird.
He goes through and gives you examples of keyboards that have that. For example, the Cherry MX Blue, like the Thermaltake eSports Poseidon Z Blue. Makes sense, guys.
Yep.
And he also talks about the like some of the new switches that are coming out. The Razor Green, the Razor Orange. Like now that the kind of what is that? The patent has expired on Cherry
Yeah, people can
switches.
start-
Now people are kind of making their own slight deviations.
Which is much better for the cost of these things. moving
Logitech
forward.
has their own. The Omron. I think Omron is actually the company that makes the switch, but they worked with Logitech exclusively to make this, and now it's in the Roamer G. Or the switch is called Roamer G, and it's in the Logitech G910 Orion Spark.
Which one's in that RGB keyboard?
Which
What's
one?
that happen? The one that sitting on Ken's desk.
The RGB 70?
Yeah.
The K70? I don't know.
How much? What?
Were those special Cherry keys that were
Yes.
clear?
No.
Or they had the LEDs embedded in them or something
So
like
they're
that?
cherry reds with the Corsair exclusive RGB key switches. So the RGB element is embedded in each key.
Oh, okay.
And then it shines up through the keycap.
I really want to try this Logitech G910. I don't know, it's hard to see in this picture, but it's kind of got like it doesn't look like it'd be great for typing necessarily because it's kind of kept these like divots in the middle of each, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know
It's meant for
how-
gaming, right?
Keys.
So it's meant to keep the. I don't know. I'd
So
like
your
to try
fingers
it.
don't slide off as easy, I
Yeah,
guess. And-
yeah.
Ryan likes the weird keyboards. Like
You know what? You
the-
know somebody who could probably get you one of these.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just got a lot of other stuff going on. I will get one for sure. I want to try it. I want to try it. But because what's the keyboard I have now? The
Use the Topre key switches.
yeah,
The
that
electrostatic
are like the
ones.
electrostatic.
Yeah, you're weird.
It's like it's a good in between. I don't know. Anyway, so check out that story. I think Scott did a really good job of kind of compiling stuff that he'd done previously and adding a little bit to it. If you're curious about mechanical keyboard switches and why everybody's so excited about them. All right, next up,
Scott does such nice work.
he does such beautiful artistry.
He has too much hair, though.
Too much hair? You want him to share some with you?
No.
Next time he gets a haircut, I'll have him ship you the leftovers.
He doesn't want that curly.
I don't want those hairs.
I'm going to send them to you anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, you have
Doesn't
to.
matter.
As long as I'm not a Norwegian guy getting married and his friends have me wear a fake beard.
That's pretty good.
There's enough you could do the beard too.
MSI. Jesus. Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve, but a different Steve. Steve Shardine posted a review of the MSI GT72 2QE. Hey, 2QE, that's a thing again. It must be indicative of the GPU in it. Hey, I'm learning the model number system.
All right.
You may remember the MSI GT72 as the machine that we tested, did our benchmarking on for the GeForce GTX 980M mobility GPU.
Yep.
We did a story on that, looking at just performance of that, and we promised you back then, quite a while ago, sorry for the delay, a full review of the machine, and that's what Steve has for us here. Overall specs are pretty impressive. You got a Core i7-4710, which is a quad-core hyper-threaded processor.
Yep.
You got the 980M with 8 gigs of memory. You got 32 gigs of RAM in this laptop.
This is an awful lot of stuff.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
You got a 500 gig quad SSD RAID 0.
Oh, I remember this one now.
And a Hitachi 1 terabyte 7200 RPM drive for storage.
It was
Super RAID.
It was a set of. They were like. Were they MSATA? No.
Yeah. I remember they're M.2.
They were M.2. 4 of them somehow. But it was M.2 SATA.
Yeah.
And they were put in this special kind of little cradle
That's
thing.
right, like a little module type
A little
thing.
module, and then that had like some sort of weird mini connector.
Super RAID.
It's definitely Super RAID.
2.
17,
Quad SSD RAID,
it's a 17-inch screen, 1080p TN LED matte, Windows 8.1, obviously all that stuff, 2230 2x2 wireless in, et cetera, et cetera.
The thing is decked out.
It's a big machine, like physically, and I maybe said this when we were talking about the graphics performance, but it is also, it's not very heavy, I thought. It's heavy, but it's not as heavy as it looks.
Yeah.
You know, that top picture kind of looks shopped.
What, this one?
That one, yeah. I mean,
it's a sunset
like
photo.
I know, but it looks like he shopped it into the picture.
I mean, if you can get an idea of the size. If I click in it, let's see if he has a bigger version.
Oh, he's got a bigger version.
You can get an idea of the size based
the way
on
the sun's hitting it.
based on the DisplayPort ports, ATM machine,
And the lid of it is actually black. It's reflecting the sky.
Well, you can see it's like a brushed metal black there. Oh no, warranty void.
Oh no.
Oh, we did that.
That was
before
you.
We even got it.
Actually, yeah.
Sorry about that. You can get an idea. So like here's the inside. Let's see if we can get a better view of that. So here is.
There's your Super RAID 2.
There it is. There's 2 more on the back.
Yeah, there's two more. These are 2. There's 2 more on the back, and then it plugs in through that port. Is that PCIe there? And then these are 4 M.2 SATA. Maybe?
They're not using the spec for that plug. That's
And then there's only 2 of the 4 DIMM slots here. Remember that? Because remember that we only had access to 2 of the DIMM slots. Because there's 4 times 8 gig modules in here.
So where were the other 2?
We never found them. Like they were on the other side of the PCB. I think.
Or they're
soldered?
on board. Maybe.
Yeah, they might be soldered.
They give you a minimum of 16 gigs. Maybe.
Yeah, 16 gig base model. That's still pretty high for a base model.
So we've talked a lot about the performance of the GPU. We won't really go into that. One of the things that I thought was worth pointing out is he did a lot of testing of the battery boost stuff, right? And with this generation, NVIDIA claimed that they had improved battery boost quite a bit in what it was able to offer. The idea of battery boost is we conform your frame rate to like max out at 30.
Yep.
And we tweak other little things, and you're going to get more performance when you have to game on battery. Or you're not going to get more performance. You're going to get longer battery life.
Longer battery life.
Yeah, it'll last a minute 48 instead of 49 seconds.
Pretty close. Pretty close. This is the best example of it, right? Portal 2 went from 57 minutes to 2 hours and 10 minutes.
It's pretty good
on battery. Now, the reason that is the largest swing is that Portal 2 is a low difficulty game for GPU.
Yeah.
It would run at a high frame rate.
Yep.
Right? When with no FPS limit and with no kind of thermal throttling or throttling at all on it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whereas if it would normally run at 120 and you suddenly cap it at 30, you're going to get a dramatic cut in GPU time.
So the GPU is doing like the hurry up and wait thing. Just like a lot for Portal.
Now it's doing a lot more, right? So you go from 57 minutes to 2 hours and 10 minutes is a big jump. You know, I mean, you could still argue whether or not 2 hours and 10 minutes of gaming time is a viable thing for a machine.
It's still twice the time.
But I mean, that's still something, right?
If you're buying a machine like this, are you really playing on the battery?
Not often, but you would imagine a case where you get stuck at Grandma Betty's
Or the power's out, and you really want to play Portal 2.
Or the power's out. That's true. You could do that too.
Your power can be out for 2 hours.
It's allowed to be out for 2 hours. After that, save.
I hope you're already in Steam offline mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also did like World of Tanks, went from an hour and 1 minute to an hour and 38 minutes. Diablo 3, an hour and 4 to an hour and 44. So like those are they're sizable jumps, right? Like StarCraft 2, 49 minutes to an hour and 48. But then you get something like Metro 2033 that is already very tough on your system.
Yep.
And you can see that the boost there is very minimal.
Well, it probably
57 minutes to an hour and 40.
It probably wasn't running much higher than 30.
Exactly.
You know, even with that off, right? So, yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. Obviously, otherwise, battery life is... I mean, it's not good. It's a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
But it's interesting stuff there. So he goes through performance of the processor, of storage. Let's take a quick look at storage performance here. About 1.4 gigs per second read, 1 gig per second write, sequential. Atto gets up to 1.6 read, 1.33 write.
You're basically saturating.
This is the hard
chipset.
drive speed, by the way, is 147 megs by 141 megs.
Yeah, you should totally use the hard drive instead of that RAID.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but you're pretty much like when you hit 1.8, which it was doing on reads. You're saturating the chipset. That's all you
DMI.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 DMI is just freaking floored, and it's probably.
Now, the machine is expensive. The model we tested was $29.99.
99.
$299.99, Josh.
$299.99.
Yes, thank you. I really can't go on with the show until
None of those
Shocked.
numbers were correct, by the way.
Totally shocked.
Totally shocked.
Ryan spelled out 29,000.
What did I say? $29,999?
Yes, and then Josh went to
$29,999.
Josh went to $300.
Oh man. But he does posit that if you like for $22.99, right, you can get a model that has 128 gig SATA SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, and you're cutting the price down dramatically.
Yeah.
You still get the 980M. Right? That's a pretty big difference there. $800 for that storage performance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need that much storage. Like
and keep in mind it's not just performance, but it is capacity as well because it is RAID 0. So you are having you are having a larger
right. You don't need that large of it. Now I don't know if you're going to get quad SSD.
Here's some more Photoshop pictures for you, Josh.
Yeah, sweet.
Like that one.
I don't know if you're going to get a quad SSD RAID in that lower capacity model. Probably dual or
that one.
Look
how Photoshop it is. Those USB ports are offset.
Right? Oh my God!
What a horrible Photoshop.
Oh, terrible.
Damn it, Steve. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's a Michael Bay shot right there.
No. J.J. Abrams.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Lens flare is J.J. Abrams. If it was exploding, it would be Michael Bay. I gotcha.
It wasn't banging on anything.
All right. So in case you missed it, and hopefully you don't because you're going to PC Perspective, PCPer.com every day.
Every hour.
Minute.
You've probably got it. You've probably hit the F5 button on our website all day. Right? But in case you're not, you should know about we're doing a PC per 10 days of Christmas thing. I know we already did a gift guide. Mm-hmm. And then I was originally going to plan like a 15 days of Christmas or a 12 days of Christmas. And then I forgot about it. And I thought, well, we are running out of days, so we're going to have to do 10 days of Christmas.
Next there'll be Hanukkah.
Right. Well, no, Hanukkah will be over before Christmas.
It's what, 10 days of light?
The Hanukkah of Christmas.
Isn't Hanukkah only like 6 days?
8.
It's 8
nights.
8 nights. That's right. It starts at sundown and okay.
Besides, our pick for that is the Dr. Dreidel.
It's it's pretty funny. So what we do here is just every day, if you go to PCPer.com, we'll have a different product that we're posting. It's like a recommendation from somebody on the staff about if you're still looking for a gift for you to tell somebody else to buy for you, or you're looking for a gift for somebody who's a techie person, you can pick up some ideas.
How about penicillin? It's the gift that never gets old. We're
trying to prevent the NHL mumps spread, or what's...
No.
His lip twitched funny when you said
that. Jeremy, before I move on, is it a drastic scare in Canada about the mumps epidemic amongst NHL players?
Well, no, because most of us up here believe in vaccination, so...
Well, Sidney Crosby
really
has
so much an issue.
Sidney Crosby has it, and I bet he's been vaccinated.
And they've got boosters before they went to Russia.
Not too long ago.
Say again, Jeremy?
They even claimed he had a booster shot fairly recently, which just seems odd.
It's super nice.
When they all went to Sochi.
Yep.
They got booster shots, and they're still
tainted booster shots, clearly.
Isn't that a song?
Tainted
booster shots.
So for example, day one, Google Nexus 7 tablet. Came out in 2013. I think still probably the best tablet, especially for the price. It's you can get it for $179 for the 16 gig variant, $179, and $251 for the 32 gig variant. I will point out that it has been removed from the Google Play Store, so they might be phasing it out for another revision some point.
So find it somewhere else cheap if you can.
But this is I mean it's still on Amazon. It's still on BH Photo. It's
not a bad tablet.
This would still be the tablet I would use on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the right size to hold. With one hand, you're reading on it.
It's almost like phones are now, though.
It's almost the size of...
it's almost the size of a phone.
6 Plus. Day 2 was a Dremel 4000 variable speed rotary toolkit.
Awesome.
Alan and I had a debate about whether or not we should put a corded versus a cordless one in there. Obviously, you can go whatever route you want. But I think corded I think you get the extra power to grind through.
Sometimes you don't
complete inflexibility to work on anything.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want that much power though. Just saying. That was my counter argument.
How much less RPM does it go to? Under 5,000?
I don't know.
Like 4,000? I'm just saying.
Sometimes you want
corded's always better. It always is.
Yeah.
And unless you're
you just want to like
power cord.
Tear stuff apart.
But if you don't have a Dremel and you have no idea why you would need one, the answer is you should have one and for everything. Because
pretty much.
You can really do anything with it. It comes with all these different attachments for grinding and cutting and sanding and polishing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
the home vasectomy kit.
Yeah, every single one of those will likely.
It's a weird attachment.
It's weird. It is odd looking for sure. And best yet, like this toolkit that comes with, I think it's like 30 accessories or something like that, is only $85. Like they're very low cost power tools.
Does that one come with the box with the little thing that holds everything?
I think it has like a plastic case that kind of holds everything together.
That's the key too. Like
you got to keep all those pieces are really tiny, so you gotta make sure they're all there. So that's a good idea for $85. You got day 3. We did the Core i7 4790K, which if you are near a Micro Center, you can get for like $249.
That's awesome.
If you're not near a Micro Center, it's on Amazon for $299.
Still cheaper.
Which is still great.
Wait, you can't order online on Micro Center?
You cannot you can't get those special processor prices without going in-store.
Huh.
Interesting. Get you.
Yeah, it's true. So 4790K, a fantastic processor if you're trying to start a system or upgrade your build there. And then day 4, which is the last one we had up before this podcast, is the Chromecast, which is the Google HDMI streaming media stick thing. That is just super handy for hooking up to your TV and then being able to run Netflix through it or run your Plex server through it, which Ken did today.
Yep.
I ran like the Google Play Store movies on it, or you can like just send it a browser tab from your laptop, like where you're sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm. Through Chrome.
Send it out there
Have to
through
use Chrome.
Yeah, you gotta use Chrome. It says Chromecast right there.
Well, yeah.
And the best part for this is this one's only $29.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Buy 3. Buy a bunch and just hand them out to everybody. I mean, it's just kind of a neat thing to have because you can just plug it into an empty HDMI port, and at some point, like, hey, I want to show you guys this YouTube video, and when you open up your laptop, instead of everybody crowding around your 14-inch screen, just send it up to the TV, and it sends the audio with it, and you get all that stuff too.
So it has a power dongle, right?
It does. It has a USB.
Will it work on my 21-inch CRT?
Does it have a HDMI port?
No.
Oh, it has a USB
get Sebastian to make
thing.
you one.
I get it.
So apparently
I could get Sebastian to make me one.
I think some HDMI ports supply power. Is that correct, Ken? There's some
like 3 TVs.
Yeah, there are some that will supply
it. So it's possible that it might,
but it's very unlikely. So they include a USB power
dongle thing,
and as long as your TV has a USB port on it,
that
they maybe use for like firmware updates and stuff like that, then you don't have to worry about using the AC adapter or anything like that.
So plug it into a battery.
$29. Plug it into a battery and just recharge the battery all the time. So that's $29. And a sneak peek for tomorrow. I think it's an EVGA 750 Ti that Sebastian wrote up.
Sweet.
So check those out if you can. Also, quick point: if you don't know what you want to buy and you can't think of something and you're going to buy gift cards for people, Amazon gift cards.
Oh yeah,
very popular. Anybody, you can get anything on the anything built in the world, you could buy on Amazon. Probably, I'm just making that up. But if you buy Amazon gift cards through the links off of our site, we get credit for that as well. It helps support PC Perspective.
Yep.
And well, I'll just say if you buy gift cards for yourself and then buy things with those gift cards, that's okay too.
If you like sticking it to corporations, you should.
I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying
It basically generates.
turns out if you buy a gift card and then buy stuff with that gift card,
Yeah.
we
maybe
might see
f-
2 commissions. We might.
maybe for the exact same amount as the total in your shopping cart.
Right.
And it's weird how that kind of stuff works out.
And you can email yourself.
you can you
gift
email
card.
yourself an e-gift card so you get it instantly.
Mine had animated puppies on it.
It did have animated puppies on it, so that's a plus.
But it's basically like
God.
free support for the site.
Yeah, it is. Like
Right.
it just helps
It
us
doesn't,
out, right?
doesn't
We're not-
cost the person that's doing the Amazon stuff anything.
Costs them nothing.
They just
one extra step. You get
Yeah.
you get a gift card and you go on.
and then we use it and towards like
And in fact, everybody
stuff.
that writes for us now is required by law
Oh, it's on mine.
to do that.
It's in the contract.
You find the total, you get the
Signs
gift
with blood.
card, you add the gift card. you
Oh,
finish
the gift card step. We have to add that.
Oh
now?
yeah.
Oh, say okay.
Yeah,
Because otherwise,
I,
Ryan will cry.
a little.
I'll
Ken verified this worked once yesterday, and also it works very quickly as it turns out too.
Hey, Ken, order something.
Hey Ken, buy something. Oh, do it.
the kinds of things Ryan,
So he ordered a knife. I don't know what that means for me, but he ordered a knife.
you ordered him to order
It's true.
something.
I did order a knife.
And then he ordered a weapon.
He ordered a knife to kill me and a flashlight to drag me through the woods to find a place.
Oh, was that what that order was?
Oh, it's for my
okay.
dad. It's for my dad.
That's nice alibi.
All right, let's get to the news. Remember that NCASE M1? The
the pop
like-
can? The Coke
Yes,
can?
this case. Which it's a rendering, obviously, because there's no can that says Coca-Cola and Coke on it. I'm pretty sure.
And also, it's a rendering.
Can you spot the NVIDIA render?
Yeah, this was a this was a crowdfunded case that I think the guy started the discussion about. Hey, what do you want in a Mini-ITX case? Like on Hard OCP's forums,
Yeah.
Right.
And then they built the first version of it. It was incredibly popular. They built a second version of it. Now they're building the third version of it.
What's
Jeremy, do you know
better this
anything
time?
about what's different on this one? By chance?
Well, I mean, it's not hugely different. It just sort of puts in a lot of stuff that people were kind of asking for because it kind of looks generic, but if you look at that, generic unbranded can of carbonated soda,
Right.
it's tiny.
Yeah.
It is a tiny little thing. And so for a lot of people, it's bigger than a lot of the Mini-ATX boards or cases that we see where you're struggling to fit your hand inside of it.
Right.
But it's not a huge full size.
Gives you an idea.
And they spend a lot of time making it a little more stable. So and that's part of the reason right there. You see that giant GeForce card in the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
If that was up towards the top, it would be a wobbly
Did
case.
you really call that a GeForce?
GeForce, yeah.
I did just call it a
GeForce.
GeForce.
How much case?
Did you
GeForce
see that
Gidix.
GeForce card?
got a lot of
It's got
cache.
so much cache. And you know
Yep.
what? That product is such a niche.
like Linux.
No, it's a Nietzsche.
Yeah.
I do like how all of the panels come off of this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every
it's
single
totally
panel
just,
comes off of this. It basically turns into a skeleton. So you can, even though it's small, you'd be able to get at it at whatever angle you want to be able to, manipulate.
Yeah, this shows they're clearly using one of those Asus. This is a rendering, but it's the what does that say? Z77 ITX.
That's that one more the
where the power delivery stuff is
yeah.
on like a riser.
Yep.
And I'd be interested to know what heatsink that's supposed to be as well.
So do you only get
Well, then this one is showing using a
Self-contained water cooler.
double rad, like a Corsair 100 or something like that. I don't know what it
so
is,
with
but-
that form factor, not necessarily this case, but with that form factor, do they make any of them that have one
Look at
more
that.
slot? Like, is there really just one slot for
You
you,
don't
to put the?
on a Mini-ITX motherboard, there's only one PCI Express.
That's it. That's all you get.
That's all you can fit.
I'm trying to think like half height.
This is cool here. Like,
SSDs and
see how
stuff.
this separates, like the
You
place,
couldn't plug it
the
in.
hard drives.
No, that is nice.
That
like-
is
Does
cool.
it
It makes
lift
it
and
much easier to work
separate?
on.
It definitely lifts and separates.
So then, which way do they sit when it's installed? Oh, it sits flat. Oh, like it's
that.
length.
Vertically.
It rides up the side. Okay,
Yep,
got
yep.
it.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it's a really neat design.
Look at
And-
Sebastian's review.
And Sebastian did do a review of it of a previous revision, but I don't think there's a huge difference there.
Well,
it
you can
was
order it again.
anti-wobbling
It's a huge
mostly.
difference.
Let's see. Here it is. Yeah, Sebastian. I think this might have been Sebastian's first article for us, or one of the first.
Yeah, look at how small that thing is, man.
Yeah, it looks chopped.
Chopped. Totally chopped. And I will also point out that, let me go back. He does shipping this writer's abode in the province of the USA known as, quote, Michigan, ranged from $30 to $55 for much faster air shipping. So that's the
Unfortunately,
NCASE
that was
M1.
a catapult, and it arrived a little bruised.
Yeah, yeah. All right, up next, we're going to talk about... it's not really a leak if Intel posted on their own website.
No.
But Intel posted pictures of the Broadwell NUC.
Okay.
We assume it's the Broadwell NUC because it looks like this.
I mean,
and we've never seen a NUC of that coloration or shape, really.
So who called it a leak, or did they just have that up there as something else?
It was on their NUC page.
Oh.
Right? But they were just like...
They didn't say anything.
Decoration pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know. Orange USB slot, obviously photoshopped.
Yeah, clearly.
Totally shopped.
So it's USB 3 on the front, and we assume that's like the orangish yellow of like, hey, it's extra
USB
power.
4?
Yeah, or the one that...
Confirmed.
Maybe the one that powers something if it's off or something, like
probably
one of
not.
those.
Probably USB 4.
No, Portal 3. Look at it. It's got the blue and the orange.
Oh,
There you go.
When you plug
Yeah.
your port into one, it just comes out the other.
I get it.
Gross.
That sounds gross too. And also they have like this one, which was interesting, like a vertical standing one type thing. That seems weird.
Like the whatever. What was that one? That
Zotac has
Yeah,
something
the
like
Zotac
that.
ones.
Yes, I mean lots of people have them. Sapphire's built one like that. Also notice that this one does not have, or it looks like it has M.2 rather than MSATA,
Okay.
right? Which
is fine by me. I
What
mean,
was there was a reason for this? What was the reason that we thought this was the case? Was there a new SSD or a wireless card?
They're doing. I think they're supposed to do a M.2 wireless card. So does it have two M.2 slots?
Yes, you
Okay.
can see them. Yeah, they're actually.
Yeah, no, there is a Bluetooth and a Wi-Fi coming out for M.2.
Yeah. There's a two stacked M.2 slots like
Gotcha.
they did with Mini PCIe and Mini Set. Or
Yeah, I see them. They're staggered a little bit, but they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been 14 months since the Haswell-based NUC. CS is right around the corner. It makes sense this will be a Broadwell-based NUC. Probably Broadwell U, which is the higher power derivative of what is in Core M.
Which was in the one of...
Core M is what's in the Yoga 3 Pro,
Yoga
which is
3.
Broadwell Y.
Be interesting to see what that does with higher power capability.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see, so I imagine we'll see more of that at CES. Alan, you posted a news post looking at Samsung's 32-layer VNAND and some photos that another website called Tech... I think you have a misspelling here.
TechInsignts?
Can you spell that for me?
Whoa. That is...
Insignants.
Yeah, that...
Tech-insignants. We didn't see that. We
that's
didn't catch
not
that,
right.
but we'll just move on. So that's a neat picture. What am I looking at?
Well, actually, that's just the BGA packaging.
Okay.
That's basically what you would stack the...
Each of these little circles
dies.
is a
solder pad.
solder pad.
Yeah. So that's just the packaging, right? If you scroll down a little more, that's the die itself. Okay, but then they start going way deep. Like, this is the edge of a die. And
How do they cut that stuff without it just...
I know.
That is a great
Scrolling
question.
it up.
That is a great question, and actually it's about to be a much better question if Ryan scrolls down a little bit more, because that's just how the word lines connect. That is the actual VNAND channels, right?
That's
a cross-section of them.
1500x zoom.
It's got to be
by
a
the way.
water
It's-
cutter.
It's
or something.
1500x compared to, like, the die.
What about frickin'
just in
laser?
relative to that die picture.
They just melt.
That probably... See, here's the thing. Some of that material in there is tungsten.
So what's that mean?
Well, it's not easy to cut tungsten, like, without really affecting the thing you're trying to take out.
I have
tungsten
diamond
carbide
tipped
blades?
miter saw blades.
Yeah.
So just use that.
Do you cut those without leaving scratches and stuff?
Yeah, it's got a nanometer edge on it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I
just
don't
hold
know.
the little die up to the miter saw, and my miter saw has a laser on it, so I'm very accurate with the cut.
The laser isn't doing the cut.
And I do that. No, but my diamond tip blade will. No, this is easy to do. And then you just get a macro lens with the 1500X zoom.
60 grit sandpaper, right?
60 grit
That
sandpaper.
could be. You
That'll
might
do it.
sand it down till you get there. 60 grit.
60 grit.
Is that a handful of sand?
This is easy. Yeah.
And then Ryan, if you scroll down a little bit more, then
what's
there's
that?
even more magnification. That's top-down view of the actual.
Of
like-
looking down this
Looks like
column
tree
right
rings.
here.
You're looking down, not the big column. You're actually like
This?
the very narrow ones in between them. Yeah,
Oh, or the ones that go on side to side.
kind of those. Yeah,
Well, you gotta tell me which hole I'm looking down. Come on.
yeah.
Am I look?
If you don't know which hole you're looking at,
So if you look at the top
You can count. You can count the age of this by counting
by counting the rings,
Actually,
this SSD has seen 3 terabytes of writes. I could tell because there's
that would actually be really
there's
cool.
rings. Yeah. So if you have like a really crazy electron microscope.
They're pretty cool pictures to look at.
What I found most interesting about this, just from a learning experience, if you go back
So
up
this
to the
is 1 micrometer, which is how many nanometers?
micrometer,
Okay, sure.
1,000.
So this is 20 nanometers, and this is 1,000 nanometers.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
trying to see how much closer we are.
But if you look at that cross section, so part of how they make this structure is you'll notice that like at the very bottom, those wider the channels, right? If you look at the very bottom,
yeah, like the what
there's-
looks like the bottom of the nail.
yeah, kind of. It kind of looks like that, right? And it turns out that
Some
they
nails
actually
that impaled Christ.
they actually etch. It's like so they etch these channels, but then how do they fill them? Like how do they get them full back up with this material? Well, it turns out that they leave like a seed crystal, or they somehow etch a seed crystal of a material into the bottom, the very bottom of these holes, right? So they somehow etch these holes vertically.
Yeah, I got that part.
And then they do something with the atmosphere or the environment that is in to
PFM.
promote growth of the crystal. And it grows from the bottom.
It goes up.
Organic memory.
Yeah. So it's like how think about it. How are you going to fill a hole accurately all the way with a certain material?
Just
you
pour
just
it all
grow
over
it
the
from the
top
bottom up.
until it
That's
overflows.
like
Very small drill bits.
It's like it's like when you aerate your lawn and you pour sand on it.
and you put little seeds. in
No,
there.
you
sand.
cover it with sand and then it gets top and you just brush it off. That's probably what they do there.
Yeah, totally.
Fill it with sand, and we all know sand makes up silicon.
There's plenty of
so
sand
it's
left over from that 60 grit sandpaper that Josh.
It's true. That's already filling the holes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
the problem is just driving
Copper-based.
that nail in straight. It's really tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
watch your
amazing
phone.
that they're able to.
It's pretty impressive stuff. Neat pictures, and it's almost impossible to look at this picture and have any, like relative scale. Like
Yeah.
I try to explain some of this stuff to my dad every once in a while. I was like, man, the stuff we're working with is so impressive, and
It
it's not.
is.
It's not until I use like the metric of. Like how many times, like if you take a human hair, how many times wider is it than the thing we are talking about? And that's like what kind of gets that point across.
And then if
but-
you look at that top down view again, there's actually something very interesting about that scale marker. Like that is 20 nanometer. Like that's what 2D planar flash is at. 20 nanometer, right? Look at how much bigger
It's gigantic.
those are.
It's fat. That's so PHAT.
And I mean, those are the materials that are storing your charge, like that, and the area immediately.
You're right.
around
Now I
it.
no longer trust it. I'm not interested in this technology anymore. Old. Done. Apparently a couple of weeks ago, or maybe just a week ago, Windows broke everything. Microsoft
Yeah,
broke
their
everything.
silly update thing.
That's Tuesday.
Jeremy, what did they break this time?
It was another root
AMD's heart.
certificate update that they did not test properly. It's not the first time we've seen this happen, and I pretty much lay money on the fact that it won't be the last. But they pushed out a knowledge base that affected only Windows 7 and Server 2008 systems. Anyone else was totally unaffected, and it was only there for maybe a day and a half, 2 days tops, before they immediately pushed out another update, which would either do what the original one was supposed to do or revoke the original update and replace it with this working one. But the timing on it was perhaps a little bit poor for AMD because it
I
came out
think
sort of the
NVIDIA
same
was
time that
behind
the
this.
Omega driver did.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that were having issues with the Omega driver could well have been having issues with this, and part of the reason that we are fairly sure this is one of the root causes is because a lot of NVIDIA users were also having significant issues updating their driver with the new Game Ready that had come out the same week. It's gone. If you've got it, you can manually uninstall it. Although if you run Windows Update, it will automatically uninstall it and replace it with a proper one. And it caused a whole bunch more than that. Microsoft Security Essentials got screwed up. VirtualBox had some really horrible things happen to it. In some cases, it actually broke Windows Update because, that's the first thing you want to break.
I mean, what is it that it was doing in order to break all those things? Was just
it updated the root certificates. So all of a sudden, these certificates are not acceptable, and
yeah,
that's a technical terminology.
That's pretty accurate, though. That's pretty much just.
You know how much that sucks for AMD? We got this great driver. We've been working on it for like a year.
This is awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be the best thing ever. Fails to install a bunch of machines.
Microsoft launches a torpedo straight to the side of it.
That's a big torpedo, too.
Yeah.
Break Windows just in time for your driver. Sorry.
All right. Also up. If you have a shield, like I do right here.
No?
That's the new micro shield.
I'm sorry. If you have this shield, you're out of luck. But if you have a shield tablet, NVIDIA has released Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Fully ported over to OpenGL, running on the shield tablet.
I would have preferred Episode 3.
Well, that's world exclusive to Shield Tablet 2, I think. So it'll happen. But Half-Life 2 Episode 1 now available on Shield Tablet. Again, this is something. It's power. It's a Tegra K1 game. I played a little bit of this. It's really impressive looking.
Yeah,
that's running on tablet. You've got the Shield controller. It's pretty cool. I mean, it sucks a little bit that this is limited to that specific audience. Obviously, NVIDIA did all the development work, or almost all of the development work on this.
Yeah.
For Portal, for Half-Life 2.
They're the one doing most of
the
pushes for that.
They did Portal and Half-Life 2 and now Half-Life 2 Episode 1. They did, their dev team did that. And so they're releasing this. It's $7.99, right, on there.
Kudos to their dev team. Think about it. They're just a driver dev team.
No. Well, their Tegra dev team who's working on the engine stuff. But
yeah, but they're versatile enough to have guys just port this game over.
They're looking for games that will show off the power of their processor, because that is their one advantage. The primary advantage that the Shield tablet has over all the other Android tablets is this incredibly powerful gaming processor.
Yep.
But
you need
Android
something to run on it.
So far behind what this SoC is capable of.
Yeah.
And so they're out there pushing that and pushing that and pushing that. I would say they have done a fair to mediocre job of actually getting that. I need to see more games out there that are taking advantage of this. So
still just a handful of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
I do like that little screenshot that says this app is compatible with some of your devices.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you saw, this is a screenshot of me purchasing it. I sent it along to Scott to use for it.
This might not work.
Does it have your credit card information?
Not in the screenshot.
Oh, good.
But I did buy it on my birthday, so there's that. But if you saw the scroll down list of Android devices that were not supported, because I have a lot of Android devices associated with that Google account because of all the testing of stuff we do, and it was only one device, so it was very easy to find the one that it was properly working for. So, and if you buy, what is this, a Shield tablet with the green box bundle, which is the 64 gig version.
Okay.
And a controller, you get the game for free. I mean,
that game.
It's $8. I think you get a couple of games. I think you get Portal and Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
Sounds like they're giving you all the good ones.
Yeah.
Just as part of the deal.
They're trying to do that. So.
And I hear that Half-Life 3 will be exclusive to the Shield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but only the Shield 1 portable for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually going backwards in that regard.
Only the Shield Micro, which Ryan has.
Correct.
Over there.
Correct.
In the form of a Christmas tree ornament.
So before I get into my picks of the week, I'm going to ask Alan, you have 3 links in here. Which one am I clicking on?
The first one's the important one, and then the middle one might be cool.
You're making this way more complicated than it needs to be for me.
Yeah, I thought that was my job.
But
yeah.
Which one of the second two?
The middle one. The middle one. The this.
Yeah, the middle one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess I'll pause it because it looks like it's
You will. It's a video. Yeah, you should.
It's a video.
It's gonna start like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, it should start.
All right. Well, enough building up to it. Let's actually talk about what our picks are. Mine is this. It looks. Oh
Thing
man,
you
It's
cannot
out of
buy.
stock. You can't buy it.
not
Come
available.
on, it's a 2008 product. It's a classic.
The Asus Zonar D2X 7.1 channel, 24-bit, 192 kilohertz PCI Express by 1 interface sound card. I'm ashamed to admit that this is a product that was brand new, completely sealed. Is it still sealed?
Yeah,
Did you open it, Ken?
Well, I think it's sealed.
It's still sealed. Still sealed.
Sealed
in
both
the
sides.
Box, that I found as I was cleaning out my office, which
Not this office.
yeah, my office at my house, which I'm sorry, JJ. Sorry. I'm sure you sent me this.
You know, I
probably
could have
supposed to
reviewed
review
that in
that.
2008.
Yeah, but had I given it to you in 2008, it might have been 2009.
Actually, Josh, you and I were
Yeah.
plugging Zonars a lot around 2008, so I think it's covered. Right?
So what you're saying is
you
you're
think
about
this
to have
is?
a
You
giveaway.
guys think this is still a pretty good sound card?
Yeah.
You think this is
Well,
still?
I think if you gave it away, someone would be happy with it.
Well, no, I'm going to use it myself.
I'm still
Sure
using
you are.
an Osintech X5 based one.
Wow, the
and
connectors have
that's-
LED lights coming out of them.
I've still got a D. What was
Holy
the
crap.
PCI version of that card?
The D2, I think.
The D.
I think it was just a Zonar D2.
Was it DX or something?
No, I think
Or
it was a
DG.
D1 or D or I forgot.
I'm going to go
Oh.
with D2 because the X would be for PCI Express.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just going on a limb. So that's not in stock anywhere. I did look before we came with this. But, hey, look into the other great Asus Zonar products. And
yeah, they're still selling all the other ones, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You can find a couple of them on the leaderboard if you so desire.
I mean, that one just got superseded by a newer, better model.
Correct,
so-
correct. If I click this See Similar Items button, we've got the Asus Zonar Essence STX Virtual 7.1 channel
Oh,
by one
that's not a
interface.
cheap card.
It's $180.
Yeah.
Headphone amp card. So it's not just a sound card. It may not be a sound card at all. I don't know what these fancy words mean.
And don't forget, you have to add like Molex power to that guy. It has a
Correct.
It has
This
a
one has
floppy
Molex, too.
drive power connector on
Does it still have
No,
the
no,
NPC
no. Does it have
connector?
floppy or Molex?
Well, it's a floppy style. Not
The
Molex.
small,
the
4
smaller
pin.
one. Yeah.
That sucks. Anyway, Josh, what do you got?
I like to sniff things.
Okay, cool. Cool.
You were just
Sniffing.
holding your cat.
I was petting the cat.
What would you like to sniff today, Josh?
Yeah, it was definitely that one.
Come on.
Network. Sniffing the network. I like to scan my network and see what is going on. There are any devices or IP addresses that may not be expected. Not only that, but it'll actually show you all the shares as well. It's a free program. It's like 1.5 megs. It comes in 32-bit and 64-bit flavors. It's a really handy little tool if you want to see what's going on around you. It's got a quick and easy interface.
Why would I want to use this? Is there any legitimate reason?
Well, yeah, okay. Say I was working at a place, and we had 4 subnets.
Okay.
And
say you were.
I was having some strange network traffic. And so I decided to scan one of the subnets and see what IP addresses are there, shares, whatever, what might be causing some issues. And, you know, it's a good way to inventory your network.
I always inventory.
So you discovered a hidden BitTorrent server?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You narc. Jesus.
I know.
All right, Jeremy, what do you got?
I was kind of grasping this week, but then I reminded myself that I had seen what our friends over in the UK get from their bloody cable providers. EE is one of the bigger ones tied in with Orange. It's a 4-tuner PVR that comes for free if you're a subscriber to their network, which costs you about $50 US a month. And for that $50, you get 80-some channels, a couple of free-for-all streaming systems, 17 megs down and up, and unlimited. Excuse me, unlimited broadband. Not AT&T unlimited broadband, but actual unlimited broadband.
You're right. Okay.
So it's got 4 tuners in it. You can pick up to 6 channels to constantly record, so that you can do skip ahead watching whenever you feel like. You can record 3 shows and watch one while you're doing it. It comes with a terabyte hard drive. Again, I repeat, $50 a month. If you want to,
so it's not that it has 4. This is all network based, right? This whole thing.
Yes.
So it's not. They're not actually tuners. It's just it can record 4 streams. Basically.
Yeah, because there aren't 4 coax coming into the back of it. But it's all internet based, so that they can actually pull this off. If you want to go for the extreme one, it's going to cost you $60, $65 US a month. You're at 76 megs up and down. We really get boned over here in North America. I mean, I know the Canadian prices are awful. I've seen the American prices. They're 3 times that much, and you don't get that. But it's just the fact that you get this for free to sit on top of your set of your TV.
This is UK, right?
Yes.
Well, don't they have to pay some extra fee?
Yeah,
tax?
there's a line rental of £15. So
I thought it was for like every screen in your house or something, or every screen that can watch a TV show or something. There's some kind of tax.
No.
I forgot what that was called.
Not with this one.
Huh.
It's just kind of sad what we have to deal with over here.
Yeah.
Poor Canadians.
And Americans.
Because that looks
You're
really
not much
Well,
better
I
down
mean,
there.
no, we're definitely not.
I mean, that interface looks like better than any DVR I've seen.
Isn't
I
it?
think.
It wouldn't
just-
take much.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Oh. All right, Alan, you're last.
Yeah. So, hey, Elite Dangerous is out. And then it occurred to me when talking to Ken that people don't realize that this is a remake.
It's not exactly a remake.
It's a remake. It's doing the same thing.
Of a 1984 game?
Yes, of a 1984 game.
Yeah.
Tell
One
me
of
what the
best games ever
1984
put
game
out.
did. Did you fly spaceships?
The docking is almost exactly the same, except that if you go to that other...
Is that code for something?
No.
No, it just means you have to spin at the same rate that
Docking
the
with the
space
spinning
station
space
is.
station.
Oh, God,
stuff.
Ken, I just lost any and all interest I had in this game now.
But if you go to the other link, and you go to like 11 minutes, like say 10 and a half, 11 minutes, you'll get a feel for how this was in 1984.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
10 or 11
wireframes.
minutes. Hey, I played something like this on the TRS-80.
Yep.
Docking.
Look at that graphics.
With essentially a
that is...
what is it? An hourglass?
Can't show this.
That right there is VSync off when you don't have a frame buffer. That's what you're looking at right there. That flicker.
Oh, you're never going to land unless you match rotation, dude.
Yeah, that dude's like got to figure out the rotation thing there, clearly.
This is the worst thing I've ever
I know, right? Notice how the stars are drawn through the space station.
Procedural generation, man. This had...
There's no Z buffer. There's none of this crap. Sorry. Well, what is he even? Is he trying to dock or what? What is he? Oh, there you go. Okay, so you see the stars?
Yes, space is drawn through.
Space is drawn through the
okay, I
station.
see.
Yes, it's awesome. Yes.
Well, it's a glass base.
Yeah.
So people who live and dock with glass bases best
Oh,
not.
look, there he is. Now he's matching rotation.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he's
getting
not.
closer.
Photon
He's
torpedo.
getting there. He's getting there.
God, you're making me really want to play this game, Alan.
I know, right? Aren't I?
Look at
How
this
many
version.
systems were there?
400
I can't
billion.
remember. They procedurally generated better part of 100,000 systems on
They did.
less than half a meg.
Yep.
Less than half a meg this game was. Oh, there you go, buddy. You're not going to... Well,
Almost.
No, you're gonna crash.
It felt
Got
so
it.
good.
And then it turns into Dope Wars. Literally.
Dope Wars?
Like, that's kind of what this was. You went to a
worst.
station.
At least this looks cool. I'm going to have to download it and try it, but if it's as exciting as that YouTube video is.
It seems to be prompting people to buy really nice joystick and throttle.
Yeah. I
sticks
just wish
and,
they
like-
could do the single player that they promised.
Oh, there's no single player stuff?
Yeah.
That is disappointing. I would like to say, if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/PCPer, you'll see NVIDIA sent along this ornament to me today that my wife is already in love with.
You should hang it on that tree.
It is a Christmas ornament of an NVIDIA Shield Portable. Okay, here, let's...
Let's see how this works.
But can it play episode 1?
No,
Damn
here
it.
we go.
But it can play episode 3.
Oh, unfortunate. Poor MSI Christmas tree.
Hey, there you
You
go.
got to put batteries in the bottom.
Oh yeah, of the
Get
tree,
some
give it a little
ballast,
bit
dude.
more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. All right, everybody, that is going to round up the podcast for us this week. Again, PCPer.com/podcast is where you can go and find all the back episodes and how to subscribe to the RSS feeds and find the YouTube videos of if you want to watch us do this in a video format for some reason. And PCPer.com/live is the URL where we record the show on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And one last plug for PCPer.com/subscribe, where you can sign up for a mailing list that we will send you an email only when we are going to do live events like this. So just give us your name and email, and I will send that along almost all of the time before our live events.
Sometimes when we're starting.
We sometimes depends on if I'm here or not. It's
Sometimes
things get
halfway
busy
through.
sometimes. Also, a reminder: we probably will not have a podcast this coming week, as it is. We would record on Christmas Eve,
And we'd like to stay married.
Well, sure. I mean, that's your problem, dude.
Yeah.
We'll do one the next week. Probably not on Wednesday, New Year's Eve. We'll probably do it on like maybe Tuesday or earlier Wednesday if people are off work, and we can make that happen. We'll do something between now and when we actually leave for CES. So there's at least one more show going up. And Ken's super excited about CES. Ken, I hope you have everything set up and planned for that, right? You got all of our stuff packed up and ready to go. Cool.
Yep.
Good to know. I think he's lying. So we'll see you not next week, but the week after that. But if we'll still have lots of content going up at PCPer.com, so make sure you check out that. If you miss us, we'll have videos up of us at the very least there, and maybe Sebastian will have another video on his next PC building process, his next supercomputer option there. So we'll see you next time, guys. I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malventano.
Goodbye.